I was recently on the worst thing ever created since the atomic bomb. Twitter.com. Yes, I know it goes by a different name now, but I don't care. I will continue to dead name this trash heap of a website until further notice. So, I saw an interesting thread saying, name a character that deserved better. I was scrolling through the thread to see who people thought deserved better, and some of the answers were just dog water. So I decided to stand on business and come up with my own list. So here it is. Characters where the narrative failed them, the writers failed them, and in some cases, the audience failed them too. But before we start, please like, comment, and subscribe because the brother's trying to make it out the trenches and afford boba. So don't forget, and let's get back into the video. I'm not gonna waste any time. The first person on this list is Finn. And to be honest, let's put in John Boyega while we're at it. I'm going to say this before I start ranting. I'm not the biggest fan of the Star Wars sequel trilogy. I think it got a lot of problems. And I mean a lot of problems.
Somehow Palpatine returned.
With that being said, they did my man dirty. Where can we start? Let's start from the first trailer for The Force Awakens. People went full hoods up when the trailer dropped. They were acting like they've never seen a black person in Star Wars before. To this day, I'm still confused what got some of these people's manscapes in a twist. What about a black stormtrooper was so unbelievable? This was made worse because we had no idea what the movie was even about. But let's focus on how these movies did them dirty. Now, they hyped my man up in these trailers, made him look like he was about to be the Jedi of the century, right? I'm thinking, this brother got the Force, but then what happens? They give him a lightsaber, and suddenly, he's fighting with it like he just found it in aisle 9 of Walmart. Every other rando off the street can wield a lightsaber properly with just a little bit of training, except the literal child soldier? Come on, man. And then, they play with my man's emotions. He's looking at Rey like, I got something to tell you. We're all thinking, alright, Finn's got some deep, dark secret. But no, they cut him off every single time. I'm sitting there like, come on now, let the man speak. Maybe he's got a recipe for some space cookies or something. But we'll never know. They had this whole storyline with him being a stormtrooper, breaking free, and I'm thinking, okay, we got something cooking over here, something real deep. But nah, they just turned him into a space Uber driver. Hey Ray, you need a ride? Man, my man Finn deserves better. He went from potential Jedi to intergalactic chauffeur. That's just plain disrespectful. Next, we got Terara from the Teen Titans. I'm gonna say this now. Terara was a victim. With that out of the way, when we were introduced to her in the 2003 Teen Titans TV show, she ended up joining the team as their newest member, and she was immediately getting along with everyone. Except for Raven, of course, but that's just Raven. But then, they hit us with a plot twist. She starts flip-flopping like a politician during election year. One minute, she's all, hey Titans, I'm your new friend. Next minute, she's shaking hands with the bad guys and making deals with the devil. We were all here for it when they were beating the gemstones out of this girl. But then in retrospect, she was just being used and manipulated by Slade. And then when you read the original Judas Contract comic, it gets a lot worse. You see, in the cartoon, Terara joined Slade because he helped her control her powers. But in the original Judas Contract, they were in a relationship together.
I saw her first.
What did he say?
Yeah, 15-year-old Terara Markov and 50-year-old Slade Wilson. I don't know why they put this into a comic book, but what makes it worse is that the Judas Contract movie actually kept this relationship in. Why would they do that when in the cartoon series, they handled it a lot better with less R. Kelly-ness in it? Now this poor girl was done dirtier than people at Anime Expo. She was turned into a garden gnome in the cartoon. She was put to sleep for good in the animated movie. The only version of Terara that gets to live is weirdly enough the Young Justice version. Justice for Terara, man. Up next, we got Ricky from Boys in the Hood. Everyone in the hood is done dirty if you really want to talk about it. But Ricky was done especially wrong. Despite having his brother Doughboy as a negative influence on him, Ricky was thinking of intricate plots to get out of the hood. He has a girl and a child that he is actively taking care of. Ricky, despite being young, is an incredibly mature person. He ends up getting an interview with this recruiter from USC so he can get a football scholarship. All he has to do is get a 700 on his SAT, and he takes it seriously and takes the test himself. A lot of athletes would have got someone else to do it for them, or just cheat, but not Ricky. This all goes downhill from here when he gets into it with this guy from Crenshaw. And now they have beef, because it's a hood movie. They catch Ricky lacking and they shoot and kill him. Many people point out if he survived, his football dreams would have been shattered because he was shot in the leg, which is true. He also scored a 710 on his SAT, so he would have gotten into USC if he lived. But one thing I don't see enough is people putting the blame on Trey, because he wouldn't even have beef with those guys from Crenshaw if Trey didn't drive him down there.
Where he at?
Where else, man? I'm on Crenshaw with the rest of them fools.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
You are an idiot. The Holy Ghost will destroy you.
Trey, what business do you have with them boys? You shouldn't have played with the gang. You should have just stayed in your lane. Not to mention the 3 decades of music revolving this one character's death.
Run, Ricky, run! Run, Ricky, run! Run, Ricky, run!
Run, Ricky, yeah, you running. Run, Ricky, yeah, you running.
Run, Ricky, run, nigga, run, jump, nigga, jump, come, here they come, run.
In 2024, can we just please let Ricky rest in peace? Please! Next, I got Madara Uchiha from Naruto. I don't think there's ever been this well crafted of a build up to an antagonist of a series ever. We first see him in chapter 217, and then we don't get his name until 92 chapters later. And then we don't get a proper introduction until chapter 560. 343 chapters after we first see him. So you know that this man is the truth, because he immediately starts mowing the lawn when he stepped onto the battlefield. The 5 Kage couldn't stop this man. Naruto couldn't stop this man. Sasuke couldn't stop this man. Man, even Obito couldn't stop this man. There was no human being on earth who was going to stop this man. He was going to win. Damn it, he should have won. Because if he won, we wouldn't have gotten Boruto. But let me focus. He literally gets stabbed in the back by Black Zetsu. And we find out that every single major event in Shinobi history was orchestrated by Black Zetsu. It was Black Zetsu all along. And it's pretty stupid how all this happened. So, Black Zetsu wants to enact the Infinite Tsukuyomi, but he can't do it himself. So he manipulates Madara to enact the Infinite Tsukuyomi. But Madara can't do it himself. So Madara manipulates Obito to revive him to enact the Infinite Tsukuyomi. But Obito doesn't plan on doing that. So he manipulates Nagato to one day use his eye for himself so he can enact the Infinite Tsukuyomi. But Nagato starts an organization called the Akatsuki to collect all the tailed beasts to build a super weapon that kinda involves enacting the Infinite Tsukuyomi. Black Zetsu sends a man, who sends a man, who sends another man, who sends a group of terrorists to enact the Infinite Tsukuyomi. This gets even crazier when you realize Obito defeats Nagato, Madara defeats Obito, and Black Zetsu ends up defeating Madara and bringing back their mother. Because yes, this was all a plot to revive an out-of-nowhere villain who Black Zetsu was following the entire time. That last rant, by the way, was inspired by the Cosmonaut Variety Hour. You should go check them out. But back to the bullshit, man. This man didn't even get to show us his true potential in his 6-path Sage mode. He was hoed just so at the end he could get Talk no Jutsu'd just before dying. The pure definition of aura, reduced to a misguided friend who just needed a hand. Absolutely shameful. The next person repeatedly gets hoed no matter what version we're talking about. I'm talking about Cyclops, also known as Scott Summers from the X-Men. Scott Summers is supposed to be the respected leader of the X-Men, but if you saw the way he gets treated, you would have thought he was Kenny from South Park. That most people don't even realize that Cyclops is the leader of the X-Men. Most people think it's Wolverine. Shoot, I thought it was Wolverine until I started reading the comics. But that's not it. This man is in a love triangle with his wife's boyfriend. Let me say that again. This man is in a love triangle with his wife's boyfriend. He's a super cuck. This man, Scott, can't catch a break. But it gets even worse. So his wife, Jean, dies, right? Like, oh no, not Jean. You know, so Scott's all depressed and shit and quits the X-Men for a while. But then, bam, she's back. It's like she was playing hide and seek with the Grim Reaper. But guess what? Jean was just taking a nap in the mutant afterlife or something. Because she wakes up, dusts off her phoenix feathers, and she's back in business. But hold on. The fun doesn't stop there. Enter Madeline Pryor, the knockoff Jean Grey. I mean, come on, Marvel. You couldn't come up with a better, more original name? Anyways, they create Madeline to be Cyclops' rebound chick after Jean's first death. It's like they went to the mutant dating app and they swipe right on discount Jean Grey. So Cyclops goes and marries Madeline thinking he's going to get a whole new life. But oh no, it's a soap opera twist. Turns out Madeline's got some demonic connections and she's actually the clone of Jean Grey. But wait, there's more. Scott and Madeline have a son named Nathan Summers, also known as Cable. But not too long after his son's birth, Apocalypse affects him with a techno-organic virus. So Scott must give up his son to this strange lady from the future so she can give him the cure in the future to save his life. Damn, this man just keeps getting set up. Also, all of this happens in a span of 5-ish years. I guess that's what you get when you try to replace Jean Grey. A demonic baby mama. In the end, Jean dies, comes back to life, had her clone steal her man, had her kind of son taken away from her. It's a mutant melodrama, and Jean's the leading lady who just can't stay dead, and Scott's her emotional punching bag. Marvel got her on the resurrection speed dial. Every time she dies, it's like they die a 1-800-Phoenix. But my man Scott doesn't deserve all that for real, man. Free him.
Attention to watchers of this video. Smiling Observer is calling upon you to like, comment, and subscribe, please. It's free, and he has to get out of the trenches soon. So what are you waiting for? Subscribe already.
If he's not suffering from chronic procrastination or his boba addiction, then he's making amazing videos. Smiling Observer will be back.
Up next, I have Wallace from The Wire. Michael B. Jordan actually plays a ton of characters that get hoed. Steve, Johnny Storm, Killmonger. But I could only put one of those characters on this list. So why not the one who started this trend? Wallace is a lot like Ricky in a lot of ways. Both were kids in the hood who were trying to do better for themselves. But Wallace was a real drug dealer though. Well, a drug runner, which is basically DoorDash for drug dealers. But despite all of that, he was a real stand-up guy. He was taking care of his siblings all by himself and helping them with their homework. But Wallace was not surrounded by the most positive of influences, some may say. And his friends weren't any better. Man, they weren't even friends. They were more like opportunistic consultants. They see Wallace and think, he's young, he's impressionable, let's put him to work. Next thing you know, Wallace is running errands like he's the neighborhood UPS man for illegal substances. But here's the kicker. My man Wallace has a conscience. He's sitting here in the drug game contemplating life like he's Socrates on the corner. He's like, should I stay here or should I go upstate? Now Wallace, in his youthful wisdom, decides he's had enough. He's like, I'm out of here, y'all. I'm gonna find me a 9-to-5, maybe start a career in telemarketing or something. But oh no, the universe in The Wire ain't having that. They send Avon's goons after him. And the end? Let's talk about the tragic end, man. Wallace is thinking he's gonna make an exit stage left, and he ends up making a left turn straight into a Shakespearean tragedy. His next exit becomes an unexpected plot twist. Turns out drug dealers can't turn in resignation letters. Wallace, trying to do the right thing, snitches to the police. Guess what happens? His so-called friends switch up on him faster than the Hidden Leaf Village. They said, "Thank you for your service," with a side of lead. So there you have it. Wallace's journey from the corner office of the drug trade to the unemployment line in the afterlife. To this day, I ask myself, where would Wallace be if he just stayed his ass in Cambridge? Rest in peace to Wallace, man. You definitely deserve better. Lastly on the list, we got Ali from the Squid Game. When we first see Ali, it's when he's saving Jihan. That action alone shows that he's a stand-up guy. This man moved his family to Korea for a better life and ended up in a dead-end job with a boss that refuses to pay him. Which is why when he pushes his boss into the equipment and took off with the money, I was cheering for my man all the way. Because this motherfucker right here deserved that shit. You see how there was no one running after him? Everyone knew that this dude wasn't shit. Ali really shouldn't have even been in the Squid Game if his boss just paid him. But in the Squid Game, he makes friends with Jihan after he saved him and Sung-woo. When they exit the game, all Ali asks Sung-woo for is to use his phone and nothing else. Not for money, not for a ride, nothing. Just for his phone. This man was willing to walk 7 hours back to his house because he didn't want to burden anyone with his problems. When he got back into the game, he was the MVP of almost every single challenge they faced. But then his so-called friend, Sung-woo, who's supposed to be his ride or die, stabs him in the back. The sad thing about it is, Ali and Sung-woo formed a close bond, and they decided to trust each other completely. As the game progressed, it became clear that Sung-woo was playing this man. When it was time to reveal their marbles, Sung-woo pretends that he lost to Ali and hands over his marbles. In reality, Sung-woo kept some marbles hidden and eliminates Ali from the game. I haven't seen some shit like this since Bishop shot Raheem and then hugged his mama. And what's up with these games, by the way, man? If I was there, I would have played Mancala. Ain't nobody beating me in Mancala. In the end, Ali was just a pawn in this messed up chess game trying to secure the bag for his family. I mean, he technically did secure the bag, just not the one he wanted. So, fuck the factory owner, fuck Sung-woo, fuck the Squid Game as a staff, contest, and motherfucking organization. In conclusion, these characters were hoodwinked, bamboozled, led astray, run amok, and flat out deceived by the stories that they were in. As viewers, we invest emotionally in these characters, and witnessing their mistreatment often sparks reflection on deeper societal issues mirrored in these narratives. While these stories may leave us feeling outraged or saddened, they also prompt us to question our own values and advocate for sympathy and fairness both on and off screen. But tell me how you feel about my list in the comment section below. If you enjoyed the video, why not watch another one? But don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell while you're at it, and I'll see you in the next video.